Hi everyone, welcome to my review of Police Academy 5, Assignment Miami Beach. Now, this is in 1988, and yeah, I've been reviewing the Police Academy films on my channel, and if you've seen my reviews, you'll know that I really like the first three in particular. They're the ones really that I watched as a kid quite a lot. Police Academy 1, actually, I think is actually a great comedy, a great film, and 2 and 3 were good, of course, especially 3. 4 I thought was really bad, and of course I just reviewed that the other day. I just thought everything just completely took a dip, and everything just got ruined. All the characters, and the comedy was just such a lack of control. Most of the gags throughout the film was not funny. They were just immature as well, just completely immature. No smart writing at all, and it was just really a mess of a film. Now, I wasn't having, I didn't have high hopes for 5 because that's one of the ones that I really did not like as a kid. 5, 6 and 7 I did hate as a kid. And I don't think that will change because certainly, I think 7 will be the worst still. And it would be hard to top this film though, and even 4. But, in particular, this film, it would be really hard to top, but I'm not, I think it could happen quite easily. Because this film is a piece of shit, unfortunately. Here it is, it's part of this Blu-ray set, the whole 7 of them. It's on part 2, of course, with 4. It's a piece of shit, really. It's not even got, as I said, Police Academy 4 had a first 20-25 minutes that had some good stuff in there. You could say decent stuff, some funny moments, and some kind of restraint and stuff, and stuff that was quite grounded, with Captain Harris. Although, as the film went on, it just got worse and worse, really. The final act wasn't dreadful, but a lot of the film was, unfortunately. This film, from the very beginning, is just complete shit, really. They start off at the academy, and everything's just fake. That's the thing about this film. It's not how the characters acted in any of the other films. Even 4. All of them just they're like parodies of themselves when they're already kind of parodies, it's just everyone, even Tackleberry in this film is ruined, and just reduced to such an idiot, a bumbling idiot in this film. Nothing really funny, nothing relatable for these characters, everyone in this film, they just become unlikable, and just the stuff they do to Captain Harris actually in the film and Proctor just makes them unlikable. It's not funny. It's kind of just bullying as well, it's not, it's a really mean-spirited film, and I'm not just saying that because it's meant to, meant to more appeal for kids and stuff. It really, just watching it, I'm 21 and it's offensive stuff, it really is, just the stuff, it's just, there was stereotypical stuff going on in the first 3. In the first one especially, though, I thought it was smartly done, actually, and there was characters built around that, around the stereotypes. In this, they're just reduced to stereotypes, nothing else, and this really plays out like an advert. The whole film just plays out an advert, like a parody advert of Police Academy, and just Miami and stuff. It really, they start off in the academy, and then Lassard, he wins this award for best something or other of the decade. But he's soon to be retiring or something, and then they go to Miami for this convention or something like that. I never really followed the plot because I was just bombarded with just shit gags constantly, gross out humour. It's just once they get to Miami, it just goes even worse. It really turns into one of the worst films I've seen for 2 years. Since I started properly documenting my films that I watched and stuff and rating them fully. In a diary and stuff. It's definitely one of the 10 worst I've seen in that time, and it's a shame because the first 3, they were good films, at least all of them 3, and there's stuff that's they're just so entertaining, but they're not offensive like this, and Lassard is just absolutely unbearable in this film. I cannot believe that he was so good in the first 3. G.W. Bailey, who plays Harris, even he is not that good, but him and Proctor are the best thing about this film. It's just, for the most part, they are reduced again to just so 1D in this film. There's no character development. throughout the entire film, really. And you know, it's not just that; it's just all the gags are just so offensive, immature. As well, they just nothing really lands. I laughed maybe 2 times throughout this entire film, and one of them was probably unintentionally. The other was just something very early on with Captain Harris and Proctor just in the plane, and because it wasn't like them all. It didn't involve the rest of the characters, and all the rest of the characters in this film were dreadful, The performances as well, they're not good, but it's just because of the direction and the script and everything. What they were going for with this film, it's just disgraceful. Really shocking stuff. It was directed by Alan Myerson, I believe, and it's just poorly directed. Just no sense of anything. No story, no plot. Which it doesn't always have to be heavy on something, plot and stuff with a comedy, but it really shows when you've got no, compelling characters, or the gags. They're so bad. They're such awful humour in this film. It is unbelievable. I do not know how anyone could find this funny. I never found this funny as a kid. This is one of the ones I just hated watching. It would be one of the ones that I just sort of, if I was to watch it, I would just walk off, when I was little, and just it'd be on, still playing, but I would just be, not taking anything, not paying attention to it, just not enjoying it. And it's just even more painful now, just to watch it. To actually sit down and watch it from start to finish, it's quite a painful experience for the most part. There's really nothing redeeming about this film. G.W. Bailey doesn't quite fully embarrass himself, and Proctor was good good compared to everyone else. They still weren't good because they had there was no good writing. The writing in this film is this has got one of the 5 worst scripts I've seen in the film for the last 2 years or so. It's so bad. It's unbelievable, the writing in this film. You've also got this newcomer, Captain, Lassard's nephew, I think it was. I think he was played by Matt McCoy, and I think he's in 6 as well. So I'm not looking forward to that because he's one of the blandest characters I've seen in a film. He's absolutely dreadful in this film. It's just awful, and he is his love interest in the film as well. One of the worst romances I've ever seen. All the stereotypes basically in this film are so amped up so much, just to the point where it's just really offensive actually in places, and it's just a shame, what was really good for the first 3 films. It's completely ruined here. Didn't like any of the characters at all, really. I didn't mind at times Captain Harris and Proctor, but really in the end they turn out to be annoying. The editing in this film is disgraceful. The use of slow motion, everything is awful. Not quite as bad editing as 4, but not far off. Everything else actually is worse than 4. This is unbelievable how bad this film is, and you can see why it's got a 0% Rotten Tomatoes, because that means no one actually liked it, which of course is understandable, because it's way below what a like would be for me. Even like I can like films that are mediocre, even. But this is way beyond that. It's below bad. It's below something I would say is really bad. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. It's not quite unwatchable. But really, it's one of the worst films I've seen in years. And it was such a pain to watch this film. As well, the acting from the newcomers and the line delivery. It's clearly ADR as well. I've been involved in cheaply done though. Awful. And the newcomers in this film is some of the most B acting and line delivery you will ever see, especially that nephew of Lassard. He's just awful in this film. All of the action is disgraceful. I could see what's coming up in the final act, the jet ski stuff, and it's never done well in stuff like this, really. I was one of my flaws of 3, but this is way worse than that. The final act of this film is a disgrace. They even parody Apocalypse Now, and that was really just a nail in the coffin for me. I really got pissed off because I was already angry at the film. When a comedy like this, a cheap comedy, has no right to parody something as great as that, it just annoys me. And I know parodies can do that, but I was already pissed off, and that just pushed me over the edge really with it. They started singing the music and stuff. I just thought, no, it has no right to do that. Just they can't even think of their own stuff, to do. They just, it's just an awful film, really. I hate this film with a passion, actually. And it feels nothing like a Police Academy film. The location as well completely loses sense of, the charm and everything that the Academy in the first films. And the villains in this film are so bad, so campy, so stereotyped, but nothing good about them. The humour, I don't see how this would appeal to anyone, really, for me. The humour of the villains and stuff. Michael Winslow is so bad in this film, actually. All of the characters are just unlikable. All they do is bully Harrison and stuff throughout the film. There's no actually well written jokes really at all, or situations. It's just, even the bits with the Lassard, the golf balls coming out of his bag, everyone tripping over, that's done so badly. It's just all awful humour. So on the nose, so heavy handed, so immature, just one note, cheap humour throughout, and then at times it's gross out humour, like so over the top, so bad. And it's just B grade to the extreme, the line delivery and everything. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have, this film, I was thinking about it and I thought, is it worse than a film that, my lowest rated films basically on this channel are, I think, two Bond films. That's Diamonds Are Forever and Die Another Day. I think this is ever so slightly better than Die Another Day, which I gave a 16%. But I think it's worse than Diamonds Are Forever. I think I'll give this film a 17%. I think it's awful. It's a dreadful comedy. It works on no level really whatsoever. The editing is better than 4, but still pretty bad for the most part. There's just a couple moments that aren't, some moments that aren't that bad with Harris and Proctor and stuff. But generally everything else is really, really awful, and that only just kind of bumps it up. A couple of things here and there basically bump it up from being, almost unwatchable. And I've never given the film that on this channel yet, and I've done about 70 videos or something so far. And that would be a special if it did do that. I don't know what 7 would be like, but it could be unwatchable if that's the case. If it's worse than this. I really don't look forward to 6, but I hope it's better than this. Just even if it's just slightly better than this, because what this turned out into, this franchise, it's awful really. The first 3 they should have stopped at that because they were good, all of them, really, and they were just well-made comedies, and just well-made films. These are just after that, I just think it's just turned into something so unbelievably bad, and 4 out of the probably it's going to be 4 out of the 7 films are going to be really bad. So it's a shame, it's a shame as a franchise. Not good, is it? No. So yes, Police Academy 5 is out the way, and it was a really painful experience for me. Police Academy 6 will be coming fairly soon. I'll probably watch that in a few days. I'm not looking forward to it. And then 7, I don't know how I'm going to prepare myself for that film, because I remember that being one of the worst films I saw back when I was a kid, and I hated it. Everything of it I hated. And it's known as one of the worst films ever made. So anyway, thanks for watching my review of Police Academy 5, Assignment Miami Beach.